Welcome to the Leadership Starts With You podcast. I am Chris Mazzara, and I went from being a broke, anxious, drug-addicted kid to speaking on TEDx stages, leading thousands globally, and being named the #1 mindset coach in the world.
One thing is for certain, when it comes to leadership, every person matters, including you. So again, the first aspect of leadership is not leading another, it's leading ourselves. Let's go to the second.
In this podcast, you will learn the how-to of self-mastery, how to be a great and effective leader by first mastering you. And I know you're expecting me to say subscribe, like, comment, but no, don't do it yet. Give me 2 minutes of your time to earn your trust. And if you believe this podcast is inspiring, it challenges it, pushes you, then hit subscribe. We'd love to have you. Now enjoy. Well, welcome to the Leadership Starts With You podcast, a podcast that is dedicated to all leaders, whether you lead your household, you lead a company, you lead your team, whatever it is that God has called you to, this is a space for you. Today, I'm excited because we're going to kick off this podcast with really helping you understand why this concept is so important, why leadership doesn't start with leading the masses, it doesn't start with leading your team, no, it starts by leading you. John Maxwell once spoke on the 3 aspects of leadership that every leader must master if they have been called to lead. Number 1, first you have to learn to lead yourself. Every single day, can you avoid self-sabotage? Can you conquer yourself consistently to do the things you know you need to do even when you don't feel like doing them? It's performing at your highest level to live in alignment with the vision that God has for you. I'm a believer in God, and I believe God has a specific design for each and every one of us that He's hoping for us to reach. Number 2, after you've learned to lead yourself, well, then you have to learn to lead one person at a time. Can you ultimately influence, persuade, and disciple them to step into the greatest version of their leadership that they can be? Number 3, can you lead a team? Can you systematically design a team where leaders are raising up other leaders as they create a structure that you get to oversee? One that is healthy, one that is loving, one that is supporting, one that is inspiring, and one that operates in excellence each and every day. We often, though, get too excited about leadership by thinking it starts with number 2 and number 3. That as soon as we're allowed to persuade and influence and lead somebody and speak on the stages, well, only then am I called to leadership. However, don't ever allow us to forget the first and most important step. And the first aspect of leadership, even as we grow in responsibility, even as we become more successful, it starts with you. Can you lead yourself each and every day? Now, I want to tell you more about my story as to why this aspect, this concept is so vital for me. See, in 2020, as the world was starting to come to a standstill, Tony Robbins' organization was exploding because they changed, they adapted, they went online, and now instead of filling out 5,000 arenas, they were now filling out 50,000 Zooms. It was incredible. They blew up, they expanded, and because of that, they had openings. Now, I myself was traveling. I was a public speaker. I actually started off in the performing arts, and because of that, I started speaking on stages around every college and university around the state of Florida. I would speak to their staff, speak to their students, and really helping them step into their greatest selves. But because of that, it led to a TED Talk. I got to speak on stage at a TEDx, which allowed me a great opportunity to be more hireable, to be more desirable to the Tony Robbins team. Now, it's not like Tony gave me a call and said, "What's up, Chris? Loved your TED Talk. Jump on the team." But his leaders had an interview with me. It went great. And because of that, I then became a performance coach, a results coach with the Tony Robbins team. This was awesome. It was an incredible step up of my life because now I wasn't just on stages speaking, but I actually had something to sell. I actually had something that could help people on a one-on-one basis because I was doing really well on that third aspect of leadership. I was building teams. I was leading from the stages. I was able to influence many, but I actually wasn't so great at the one. I think I was a little too caught up in the glamour of leading thousands and speaking on stages and becoming social media famous that I lost myself in that. And I really didn't understand the importance of leading the one. Every person matters. So this coaching role with Tony Robbins was awesome. I was assigned to some of the most successful entrepreneurs and athletes and business owners and overall just great leaders from around the entire world, as far as Switzerland. and as close as Fort Lauderdale. Now, what I did not expect, and was a great surprise to myself and everybody that I knew, was just how great I was at it. Now, in 2020, I quickly climbed in the ranks of how successful my clients were becoming while using business growth strategies, but also Tony Robbins' ability to master people's psychology. I was using all his success and teaching principles to help people step into their greatest versions of themselves, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. Because my clients were becoming more successful, more healthy, more fulfilled, they were then referring me to all the other clients. And all of a sudden I had a book of business that was bringing in a great amount of money to the Tony Robbins organization, and that was actually making me the most money I had ever made in my entire life. It was an incredible chapter. But here's where it gets tricky. I was leading others. I was leading companies, leading teams to become their highest performing selves, to grow their money, to grow their health. But during that time, I was working so much, morning to night, that I forgot the most important and the most fundamental aspect of leadership, which was leading myself. Imagine getting on conversations all day, every day, just to tell people about the things that they should be doing that you're not. You start to feel a little bit fraudulent, start to feel a little bit unhealthy. You almost feel like a bit of a hypocrite that, yeah, you know the principles, but how are you not applying the principles? And all of a sudden, like throughout that time, I kind of just started feeling a little more bogged down. And although I was still succeeding at a high level, at the end of that first year of me working with them, I had sprinted to the top 10 in the world, top 10 most successful coaches within this space. But I myself was more unhealthy, more unhappy, and more unfulfilled than I had ever been. And it was funny because I had won these 3 of their top 6 awards my rookie year. That was one of the awards, was Rookie of the Year. So I had won these 3 awards just to feel tired, burnt out, disconnected, and a lack of passion for the next 5-6 months. It was terrible. I'm a very passionate person. I love what I do. I love speaking to people. I love giving them these tools and these resources to change their life. However, I started to hate it because I was so unwell within myself that I wasn't able to be there for others. That is when I learned the ultimate quote. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And that's exactly when I knew there had to be change. That this couldn't be the mountaintop. That this couldn't be what people strive their lives for, to be successful, to reach these points where they're miserable. I would not allow that for myself. So I started to make some real fundamental changes that I really want to place a point of emphasis on today that you would keep in mind moving forward. After I was feeling this burnout, I'm stuck, man. I'm having a hard time waking up. I had to start small. I had to start building in the most important areas of my life because, again, leadership starts with, I hope you said it, you. Leaders have to learn to build from the inside out. It doesn't start from the outside in, but the inside out, mind, body, soul. Well, the very first thing that I have to build my life on is a foundation of God. Now, during that time, I had started to drift from God. And it's so interesting because God had brought me to the greatest plateau of my life, the greatest success story that I had ever experienced, just for me to forget about him in the process. What an interesting dynamic to treat with our Father in heaven, the guy who provides for us just for us to turn our back. I hope that preaches to you. So for myself, I knew the very first thing that I had to build myself on was my spirit, my spiritual practice, God. Now, I myself am a follower of Jesus, and it's all good, whatever it is that you practice. I would just place an important emphasis on the fact that you absolutely should have a spiritual practice that pours into your spirit, and I hope that you call something God, but whatever it is that you have prioritized for your spiritual practice should be a daily and consistent thing. Now, for myself, I'm going to refer to God as Jesus. I follow Jesus, and in every single morning, I have to have these prayer walks. These prayer walks that last 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, where I'm walking my dog about 4 or 5 in the morning. Nobody's around. It's completely dark. And what I'm doing is I'm filling up my spirit. I'm talking to God. I'm getting alone in isolation just to pour into myself to feel how it is that I need to feel. And it's so beautiful, the insights that come during silence. When you are completely in silence. You're not trying to be engaged with your phone. You're not trying to distract yourself with any thoughts, but you're deep in solitude, deep in silence as I continue to walk with God and hear his insights into me. I'm praying through business things. I'm praying through relational things. I'm praying through the fights that I had gotten into with my family member last week, asking for forgiveness, asking to let that go completely. I'm praying through whatever I need to pray through to have clarity, because One thing that I have learned is that so often we become human doings and not human beings, especially my high performers. We get so focused on doing that we don't really pause to reflect. We don't pause to analyze and understand how it is that we're doing in the first place. Those prayer walks for me are the most important thing that I can build my life on. So for me, the perfect morning looks like waking up, drinking water, reading some scripture, and then going on a prayer walk for as long as I need. Feeding my spirit. Number 2, well then I had to feed my body. I am absolutely diligent, committed, relentless about one very important thing in my life, which is morning workouts. I had a mentor by the name of Mark Megna. He's an ex-NFL player. He played for the New England Patriots. And Mark Megna opened a gym right here in South Florida. And I had the pleasure, the opportunity of being mentored by him as I helped him write his book. And what I learned from Mark Megna was that every human being can have access to a cheat code if they build the discipline that's required to do it. That cheat code comes from morning workouts. Now for him, it's as early as like 3, 4 in the morning. For me, it's 5 a.m. But morning workouts are unlike any coffee that you could ever have. When you take time to engage your physiology, to build your body, to do something that's challenging and hard and rigorous right from the moment you start your day, you are not just releasing endorphins and building testosterone and all the great things that come from that, but you're also proving to your mind that the hardest part of your day you are willing to do first. And because of that, every other thing from there seems easy. What I always loved back working with my Tony Robbins days was that I would see myself in meetings. It's early in the morning, and I'm seeing people grabbing their coffee, and you kind of see they're just still waking up. It's 7, 8 in the morning, and man, they're just really trying to get themselves going. But I had been up for 4 hours. I already had a workout in, and I'm wide awake. I'm not trying to ease my way into the day and hey, maybe 30, 40 minutes, guys, give me a little bit of time. Got to drink my Starbucks first. No, I showed up fully prepared as the greatest version of myself, and I was able to attack the day in a way that they couldn't. They were physiologically unable to attack it. Now, do I enjoy some coffee? Do I enjoy my green tea? Absolutely. I'm not trying to live a caffeine-free life. I love me some caffeine, but I don't rely on it to get my day going. That's the difference. Build your body each and every day. Be proud of this body as you step into the day. It feels good to feel good. It feels good to have a body that is strong, that is capable. Leadership starts with you and how you feel about you. So take care of your body. I promise there's not a single client that I have worked with, and I've worked with over 500 around the world. Some of the highest performing people that you'll ever come across, NFL players, Division I athletes, millionaires, and they all have one thing in common. They believe in the importance of taking care of this body. Make sure you have one as well. And I don't care if you're listening to the podcast, you're 50 pounds overweight, or you are shredded with abs. You just have to start somewhere. You don't got to be where I'm at. I'm running, I'm lifting 6 days a week. It is a part of my life, but you got to start somewhere. And that might be a walk, might be a jog, might be some lighter weights. I do not care, but prioritize strengthening this body because this body is the fuel for the journey that we're going on. All right, number 3, I had to take care of my body, my spirit, and then I needed to take care of my mind. Guys, how are you pouring into your minds? Right now, we live in the most distracted times in the history of the world. And every moment, there's an ad, there's a notification, there's a text, there's an email, there's a call, there's a request. There's somebody that's trying to vie for your attention, to take it away from focusing on what you should be focused on, consuming what you should be consuming, and instead focus on what they want you to consume. Maybe it's nonsense. Maybe it's useless. Maybe it's unhealthy. But there's something that's trying to pull your attention away that doesn't benefit you, but it merely benefits somebody else. Woof! Come on, wake up. Get out of that algorithm. At my worst days, my algorithm looks like animal fights, killing each other in the wild, and nonstop NBA highlights. Neither of those things are going to make my life better. They might entertain me, but they do not benefit me. Please understand that what you consume is what you become. Your input decides your output. So make sure your input is good, that it's healthy, that it's strengthening, it makes you better. And this doesn't just come from the food we eat, which I hope it's not garbage. It comes from the content we're willing to watch. The TV, the movie that we're constantly putting into our minds. What are you reading? What are you watching? Who are you speaking to? Come on, y'all. This is episode 1. I'm hyped. Let's get this going. Hey, here's your moment. It's been a few minutes, and if you believe this episode is speaking to you or that I and my team can offer you value, then please hit subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on all platforms, we're releasing content every single week, and we'd love you to stay informed. The mind, make sure you're pouring into your mind. One thing as a leader is that you should be growing at a level, at a rate that you are always able to lead those around you because you are growing at a faster pace. You don't need to master everything, but you damn sure better be mastering something. Become somebody that is worth following. We're not just a leader because we're given a title. There's no shortage of bosses, but there's a huge shortage of leaders. There's a big difference. Bosses delegate, they give away things that they themselves are not willing to take on, that they themselves are not willing to do. Have you ever seen a track coach who's overweight, who doesn't run? Have you ever seen a business owner that delegates everything and demands way too much because he himself never mastered it in the first place? Have you ever seen leaders that say, hey, do what I say, don't do what I do? Make sure your example is one worth following. Guys, I made these changes. I built my mind, my body, my soul every single day. I took it very seriously. And what was very exciting is that the following year, I went from top 10 and burnt out to number 1 in the world. And I was happy, healthy, and fulfilled while doing it. That was the most important part. I had reached the most success, the biggest reputation, the most respect, but none of that matched up to how I respected myself. I was proud of the version of me that I was becoming because I'm always in a process of becoming. I've never arrived, but whoof, I was doing a whole lot better than I once was before. This podcast is the first step to you understanding that your leadership starts right here, right now, within you. Your mind, body, soul. Make those changes each and every day. Focus on your self-mastery. Mastering yourself before expecting you to lead others. Leading yourself to be in alignment with the version of you that God is calling you to become. Stay with us. This is the Leadership Starts With You podcast. All aspects of self-mastery to make sure you're stepping in as the greatest version of yourself so that you can lead others to becoming theirs. Thanks for listening to Leadership Starts With You. If you enjoyed this episode, could you please leave a review, a comment? It goes a long way to helping us grow the channel, or even send it to a friend because you never know who this show could help as well. And here's something special. If you go on Instagram and you DM me the word Monday, I will give you free access to our online school community, and you'll get to be a part of our group masterminds called Master Your Mondays. This is where we go fully in depth, a deep dive towards you mastering your weeks, your time management, and your focus to make sure that you continue as a high performer. So don't waste another Monday, even another moment. DM me the word Monday on Instagram and we'll give you free access today.